What's up, guys? So I just ended my last video and I just came inside the house to start some seeds. I have no idea what seeds I'm going to be starting, but I know I have to start seeds. I have this bag of two separate bags of tomatoes that I need to plant. I think these are cherries and these are determinants. That's a lot of tomatoes. I do have, I think, two trays of tomatoes that I planted already, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I was going to succession plant these. So I was going to plant my cherries and then wait another week and plant my determinants. But I'm already past both of those estimated dates that I wanted to get those planted. We got into like a really busy life schedule. So I am feeling behind, but I know I'm not. My last estimated frost is until I think April 2nd. Last year it was April 1st and we had a frost April 2nd. So I think that time frame is really good, and so we're still more than 8 weeks away from that time frame. But I'm feeling a little bit like, I have to plant all the things. Y'all totally need to see this sweet potato sprout. It is so long, so I know I need to take it off and put it in water, but it's huge. I also need to water this soil, but I do have some sprouts coming out of this sweet potato. But look how much sprouts are over here and over in this one. This, oh, and over here in this corner. Like, that's a crazy amount of sweet potato sprouts. My water ones are still not. I just have the one that is doing the best. Still don't see any sprouts on that one. Or, well, actually one's forming there. But definitely I will be planting sweet potato sprouts in soil every year from now on. Okay, so I am gonna go ahead and get some tomatoes planted. I have picked out 40 packs of tomatoes because I do have this cell tray and it has 20 rows going this way. This is a 200 count cell. This is from Bootstrap Farmer. It has 20 rows this way and then 10 going this way. So what I'm going to do is plant 5 of each variety. So that means I can fit 40 varieties in here. And I'm just going to mark them on this masking tape like I've done on my other ones. If you know the story, I had a bad experience with the plant tags inside of these with getting knocked over under the grow lights. So I had a lot of mystery tomatoes last year. So to avoid that, I'm just marking them on the sides here. And then when I transplant them to a bigger container, I will individually mark them with the plant tags because I still have those. I already started and I planted already 5 rows. I'm not going to tell you each individual tomato plants I'm going to be planting because I did a whole video on me growing over 100 tomato varieties. So if you want to know what tomato varieties I'm growing, you can go and check that video out. But I'm using Pro Mix as my seed starting mix. I filled the tray. The soil is moist, and then I'm just going ahead and gonna write down each name, and then I'm sitting the seed on top of the soil and then pushing it in. Okay, so I have my whole tray marked with all of the names of the tomatoes. So what I do is, let's see, I put the brown, so the brown permanent marker is going to be the first 5, and then the green permanent marker is the next 5. And so I just wrote them under each name. So this first one I'm going to plant is Rutgers. And I just take 5 seeds out. I'm only planting 5 in each row. 1 seed in each. So I just take the seeds out, and I'm only planting one in each cell because I don't need, since I am growing so many tomatoes varieties, I don't need thousands and thousands of tomatoes. I'm thinking I'm planting about 400 seeds. I'm thinking this is 144 cell. Then I have another one up there. So okay, maybe I'm planting about 500 to 600 tomato seeds, but I know that not every single one is going to sprout. And so I'm hoping to end up with maybe somewhere around 200-ish tomatoes. So that was Rutgers, and I just placed it right on top of the soil, and then I use my dipper and I just poke it down into the soil a little bit. And when I finish all of them, I am going to bottom water this and then sit them under my grow lights. I like to just plant one seed per cell, is so that I don't have to separate them later. And tomatoes are really easy to separate, but like harder plants that are harder to separate, I don't like killing plants. You know how like you would read when I first started gardening, to plant multiple and then kill one later. And I didn't like that, and so I just, to avoid all of that, if I'm using new seed packets within the first, like this year or last year, I just plant one. And then if it's like maybe 4 years ago seed packets, then maybe I might plant 2 per container and then separate them later. But I really don't like killing seedlings, and so to avoid all that, I just plant 1 seed per container. But I mean, with tomatoes, they and like onions and stuff like that, they're really easy to separate, but still, I still just like to plant 1 per container, and that way they have more space to grow, and I have to transplant them less cases or I have more time to transplant them, because when you plant a bunch and then separate them later, they're going to be competing for nutrients, and then I would have to quickly hurry up and transplant them so that they could all, have the ability to grow. With this, if I just planting 1 per cell, they have more opportunity to have the nutrients that they need, and it gives me a little more time before I have to up pot them into a bigger container. Okay, yay! I just planted 200 tomato seeds in here, which was 40 varieties. I'm so happy I got that, got this planted. That was, let me show you all of these seeds, and I still have, so I still have some determinants. I was able to fit maybe like 7 determinants in here, but most of these are cherries. So I still have 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. See, about 20 more tomato varieties. All of these are determinants that I need to plant. But I am happy to have this done. I was able to squeeze that in before we leave. So now I have to, I'm going to bottom water this. So I just have this right here. I'm going to bottom water, sit this underneath here, and in a few days we should have some sprouts. So I wanted to show you, so this is how this tray of tomatoes is looking. And I also have this tray right here. So if a tomato or any kind of plant ever comes up like this with, they call it like a cap on, you can use your saliva to get it off, but that one was really easy. I just was able to pull it off. It's just basically it germinated with not a lot of humidity, so the seed wasn't able to push out of its cap. But then I have, so this tray right here, they're looking good. They already have a set of true leaves on them. I'm gonna go ahead and sit this tray right here. So this is how my basils are doing. And my flowers My alyssum is huge, as well as my Laneri fairy bouquet. Oh my goodness, they already look like they want to start producing some flowers. And I have petunias, and then I have some more alyssum here. I'm gonna go ahead and plant these into some containers. I came outside to just think about where I wanted to plant my tomatoes and have a surprise. I have tulips that have opened, and they're so pretty. Of course, this is not the right time for tulips. Look at all that pollen in there. For tulips to be open, but they are still really pretty. So I was just thinking this out, working it out in my head, and I was thinking about, okay, so you see the cross all the way down there. I was thinking if I did an in-ground row from the center of the cross coming all the way this way, I could plant my tomatoes in it, because I was just wondering about where I wanted to plant my tomatoes. So when I came out here and I was looking, I think this would actually be a really good space right here. And the only other plant I could think about planting here would be maybe doing some in-ground potatoes. Because I wanted this to be even, so it has the cross and then two beds to the left, and then it would be two beds to the right, and then this middle would be empty. But if I planted or put some compost coming down the middle here, I could possibly, and then have like an in-ground trellis or something like that, I could possibly do a bulk of tomatoes down here. So I would like you guys' feedback. Let me know, do you think I should plant down the middle tomatoes here, or do you think it would be better suited for maybe like in-ground potatoes? I could possibly do that, but then I would still be left with trying to figure out where I want to plant my tomatoes. I do think I want to plant them all together. Another place I was thinking about planting them would be along the fence in these beds, but these beds are 6 feet, so even if I did a square foot for each tomato, that would be only 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42 right there. And I could possibly still do that and still have the center of tomatoes, because obviously I'll have, you know, a lot of them. And we still didn't even finish. I still, when we clear this up, have to put more beds here. Another option I was just thinking about is I could do, since this width is 50 feet, I could do maybe 4 rows going this way towards the back of the garden, and have my tomatoes planted in ground going this way after all of the raised beds. So it would be really far back, probably. And then there is a tree here. There's this is a walnut tree or a pecan tree right here, this one, which would be obviously filled out in the spring, so I have to worry about that. But I could possibly do it going 4 rows going this way. You guys let me know what you think. But I am so happy with how the garden is turning out. Just seeing all the beds laid out, I'm really being able to just see what the garden's gonna look like and when everything's all planted.